Hi guys, how you guys doing? I just wanted to do some bed rant. So I'll be 59 years old in about 35 hours because I was born at 7:13 in the morning on 12/6/66. 7:13, yeah. Um, so not between a day and 2 days from now. So that's cool. And my hair thing, I think my hair's doing better too because I just showered, but it's the first shower I've had since giving it energy about my hair when I was 28, like I told you guys I'm doing. And I think it matters I shower differently because of that. It's one thing when you've already showered to give it energy, but when you give it energy and you shower, it puts more magnitude into it because it changes how you actually shower too. I'm giving it energy. I'm choosing to observe my hair when I was 28 and see if it manifests in the present. Can't hurt, right? Um, and I'm cleaning up my head a little bit. I think I'm deprogramming, if you want to call it that, from all the things I was taught or even made or tried to be made to believe growing up. Right off the bat, I was a student and I was made to go to church and I was made to go to school, and I never got to choose those things. So I should have the right and the might to unchoose them at some point if I choose. I mean, no one ever asked me if I wanted to go to church, if I believed in God. I was just made to go. Well, that's the wrong approach for me because I'll just take it under advisement to consider later, and then I'll undo that. Same with school. School, same thing. School is like, you will do this, you will do this. Well, maybe I really didn't want to. Maybe I did, but maybe I didn't. So, and I often have a thing. I think I call it to myself. I've never spoken it, but I call it my passing the lie detector test on an issue. In other words, it's one thing to talk about the universe, but would I pass a lie detector test if someone asked me if I believe in God under lie detector tests? And I think I'm making progress on that level in my beliefs. I think just the other day I was thinking and I was realizing that the universe might actually be the truth. There might not be a God. It might be just the universe. It's not just a fun thought to toy with. It may be actually true. It may be actually what I believe on a subconscious level now. At least I'm getting there. I'm making progress in that area. Like if someone put me in a lie detector test and said, "Do you believe in God?" and I said, "No," I might pass. And if they said, "Do you believe in the universe?" and I said, "Yes," I might pass that. Do you really believe something on the lie detector level is a good question to ask yourself. And I do myself. Am I really afraid of hell? I made progress there. I made progress where I realized I'm really not afraid of hell that much anymore, even if it exists. Let's just say I got that out of my system. Let's just say I don't care anymore. Let's just say, and not only that, if the universe is true, there might not even be such a place. Why be afraid of a place I'm not afraid of in a place that I may not believe in, and then spend any time at that? I was only spending time in it because of the crap they were telling me in church, which I was made to go to. I didn't choose to go to church. I didn't even ask if there was a God. I was just sent to church and told the answer. Well, that doesn't work for me too well. Maybe most people it might work. I think it does because I see people. In fact, I'm the only person I know that's actually reevaluating what they really believe. Everyone else I see just goes on with what they were taught. I was taught it must be true. I don't care, or either that or it must be true because I was taught it. It must be right because I'm right, and I wouldn't be in a situation where I'd be told something isn't right because I'm me and I'm great, and so I'm just going to believe what I was told to believe because it must be true because I was told it. Okay, adios. I'm deprogramming. I'm unraveling that in my own brain. You guys do what you want, but I'm really starting to on even a subconscious level, even on a lie detector level, changing how I think and how I believe. I don't think the Bible is true. And I have the right not to believe in it. If someone else had the right, or if someone else had the might to make me choose something that I didn't even want, that wasn't even asking the question, then I have the right to undo that if I want to. And not only that, I have the might to because I'm doing it. So it's all good. And I wouldn't be doing any of this if my wife were still here. She'd be nagging me up the yin yang. Half the time I would be like, when's she going to call my name now? You know, I didn't ask her to leave. I didn't make that happen. I didn't choose it. But now that it's happening, I'm making the best of it. I have time to think with a capital T, maybe even. I'm really thinking, you know. People don't get to think. They teach you what they want you to know, what they want you to believe, and then they keep you on the treadmill going so fast you don't have the time or energy to undo it. You're too busy going to work just to pay the bills to worry about what you were actually told, or why you're actually going to work to pay the bills, or why the bills even have to be paid, or why there's even such a thing as money, and blah, 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 blah. You don't get to consider that because you're slaves going to work. I'm not. Of course, you all have family. I don't. Well, I'm making the best of my situation. I'm kind of glad I don't. Family is a tie to that belief system that is harder to break than it is for me when I don't have family. So damn right I don't have family, but I'm making the best of what I have, which is no family. What do you want me to do? Try really hard to have a family? Okay, I tried. Missed. Well, then fuck it. I'm gonna be me and not have a family, okay? I'm really liking my classical pieces, but what I'm really thinking of coming up is the parties. I'm not gonna be doing. I mean, I'm not a prophet, but that's my energy is going toward getting ready for those 15 songs I play. One I play twice, which is Eruption by Eddie Van Halen. If you count that that's played twice, or 16 songs, but if you count just the number of individual unique songs, it's 15 songs. Just that Eruption is played twice in my set. Second time I play with it a little bit, extend it or whatever, make it a little bit more my own, do a little twist or two to it. But I'm working on that. But I'm already doing that with this thinking of it, you know, this thinking of the vibe of the song. But I've got to actually get down and practice them again. So it can only help to practice. And I did them right the first time. I didn't refry them. No. I just have to review and make sure I got them out, you know, got them and everything for the party. And it's funny when you actually reevaluate what you believe, it matters less and less what other people think of you to yourself. Like when you're first changing a belief, when I first challenged Christianity to what I was raised to believe, it was, you know, it was more interactive with other people. It was like I had a bone to pick with people almost, for some reason. Like I wanted to prove it to people that there's no God, as I was proving it to myself. But when I really start to prove it to myself, where I really start to believe, where I know deeper down that there's no God, I don't have to, it doesn't matter if I prove it to anybody. It's just different. It's a different scenario a little bit. I don't care if anybody joins me. I can't make that happen. I care for their sake. I want people to be free of religious dogma and societal dogma of school and work, but I can't do that for them. And if I can't do it for them, I can at least do it for myself, which is what I can do, which is what I'm doing. And I have to let it go if no one joins me. But if people join me, that's awesome. I'm right here. But you know, I'm enjoying my classical pieces in the meantime. I wanted to update the reason why I did one tonight so soon after just having done one is because I might be moving at an exponential rate kind of in my musical progression, because I just upped my ante as far as expressing the harmonic minor scale on my walk today. I realized the way I can play the scale a little bit more expressively, and I needed to document that. At least I wanted to, as a way of, you always want to hear what it is. Like, okay, it's great to play scales, do, re, mi, fa, sol, like that, you know, straight up, straight down. But a lot, to me, what do I know? I mean, I'm nobody, but when you get down to the bottom note of the root of the scale, It shows expressiveness if you slide down to the major seventh and then back up to the root. You can play like that. You're not just playing it right straight down and then stopping and then going right back up. It sounds more amateur when you do it that way. And I was doing that for major scales, but I wasn't doing it for harmonic minor scales. I was going da na 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 na, and then just going straight up and down. And it sounds good, but you really know you have it when you can go down even a step lower to the major seventh and then back up to the root and play with that on your lowest root tonic note of your scale. And I got that. I not only got that, but figured out that that is true and that's a thing on my walk today. Don't just go straight up and straight down with like the roots of a bass, a floor. Go down under it and back up with the major seventh and the root. Play with that. Then it sounds like you're expressing yourself better, and it gives more feeling to it. And I had to document that tonight. At least I wanted to. You know, I played now. I was doing that with the major scale, but I wasn't doing it with the harmonic minor scale. And now I am. So, and that, just that simple trick of knowing to go down to the major seventh and back up to the root on your lowest root is really cool. And I didn't even know if that was a thing to do until I actually did it. You know, I actually figured that out, and I go, oh, that was part of the secret. Know how to go under the note. You know, just because it's the lowest note doesn't mean there's not a note underneath it. And then play with that, and it sounds more expressive. It sounds like you know what you're doing. It sounds like you're making, like, it sounds more soulful, you know? Like in blues, if you just played all the notes, it would sound great. But if you bend them, that's where you get your soul in the blues. Well, classical music isn't so much bending notes, but it's hammering and tapping and sliding to notes, but it's still the play of notes that's so slight, but makes it more expressive. Don't just go down to the root and back up. It just sounds okay, just jarring kind of. But if you go under to the, like I just said, it gives it more expression. And the reason, in my case, why I was doing that with the major scale and not the harmonic minor scale is because of the choices I made when I was studying music theory. I made a few of them. I decided to go with the major scale first because if I would have done, even though Yngwie and all the rock classical people were playing harmonic minor, I didn't want to just start there. You know why? Because I knew I would never do the major scale. I knew I would omit that because it would have been too fun, too easy, too much reward, too fast to do just the harmonic minor scale first. So I did not do that. I studied the major scale first. And while Yngwie was doing all these minor triad sweeps and then sometimes diminished seventh, I wasn't doing that. I was playing major triads and versions of those because I knew the minor would come in time after I got the majors down. And I knew if I did the minors first, I would never get to the majors because it would be too easy. It'd be too fun to just rock out right away, just like that. And I didn't do that. I studied the major scale and the major triads first. And only recently meaning what, the last couple months really, started going, well, now let's do the minors. Let's do the harmonic minor scale. Let's do the major. Let's do the minor triads. Let's do the diminished seventh. And it's easier than the majors for some reason. And now that I knew the majors, why not? And it's not that hard. It's not that hard to, once you do the majors, it's not that hard to go to minor. But if you start with minor, you're never going to do major. At least I wasn't, because it's too easy. I mean, it's too fun. You're skipping all the hard work. And if you're that kind of attitude, you're not going to get to the hard work. LOL. You're going to skip it all the rest. You've already skipped it by just choosing to skip it, because if you do the easy stuff first, the hard stuff doesn't get done. That's just how it is. Start with the hard stuff. Do the hard stuff first. Do the boring stuff. Like Jaco Pastorius, great bass player, said, the only shortcut is the long way. The only shortcut is really do it all first. Do the hardest things first. And then find out later, oh yeah, I can do it now. That's the shortcut. The long way is do the easy stuff right away, and then you never get to the hard stuff, and then you really run into problems, and you have to go back and relearn, and then that's the long way. In macro time, you know. In micro time, yeah, go play your Yngwie stuff, play your minors, and just rock out. But you're missing a lot that you should have if you're gonna, don't be presumptuous. Don't burn your guitar until you can play it. Like that was Ingve's idea. He only played guitar because of two commercials he saw, two things he saw on TV. First, he saw Jimi Hendrix burning his guitar at Monterey Pop Festival. So he said, "I want to burn my guitar, but first I better play it first." And then he saw this guy doing Paganini licks on a violin on TV, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to play those kind of licks." And next thing you know, he's Yngwie. But he didn't just burn the guitar without being able to play it. In fact, I don't know if he ever burned the guitar, but it's a nice goal. I'd like to burn the guitar. I just don't think it's available to me as an option because, first of all, it's been done. Second of all, I might catch myself on fire. Someone would probably put too much flame or too much accelerant in my thing just to make me go on fire and somehow be in on a plot. No, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just joking. But anyway, so my birthday's in about a day and a half, and I'm getting a DNA test done on me. My friend Catherine ordered me at probably, I think it's Ancestry. I didn't ask her for sure, but I think she did Ancestry.com. She ordered an Ancestry DNA kit for me. I'm gonna give my sample on my birthday. It's gonna be Saturday, 2 days from now, and find out something about myself. Maybe we'll see. So I love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.